Good evening, happy stampers. Welcome, friends, to my YouTube channel and my Facebook Live. I'd like to welcome you guys all for Tools and Techniques Thursday. I am just checking to make sure I am on. So if you are watching, don't forget you need to give StreamYard permission to post your comments. And I urge you to do that. So my name is Judi Anderson and welcome to my Happy Stamping Studio. This is where I hope to inspire you to being creative in your everyday stamping and paper crafting. Make sure that you give me the hearts or the thumbs up if you're liking what I am bringing you. And the best compliment you can give me is to share my video with your friends. So don't forget to do that. And also make sure you say hi as you come on. I am just going to tap on this so it stays on so I know you are here. Put your names in capital letters and let me know where you're coming from. So tonight, I really don't know what the real name of this card is. I'm just calling it a triple card because that's kind of what it is. I've made double cards, a lot of them before, in different ways and stuff. And I saw a card like this posted on our demonstrator Facebook page. And the girl did a wonderful job. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would be perfect for an Easter card. And I am going to be using the Tulip Fields bundle tonight. This is a bundle that I love from the very, very beginning. It does remind me of my grandparents, actually, and my uncle, because when I was very young, my grandfather was in a car accident and he was in the hospital. I was like 2 years old. And he was in the hospital and he ended up dying from a heart attack, which was a result of the car accident he was in. And where he is laid to rest, and back then, and my grandmother since then, and my uncle since then, is in a cemetery close to me, and they have this huge windmill there. And in front of the windmill, there is this beautiful pond, and every year they have had these swans come back, and the swans swim there. And so this is a memory that I have had from childhood, going to the cemetery 2 and 3 times a year forever. And it's just instilled that windmill in my mind. And this windmill in these dies remind me of my relatives. So there's just a little bit of a story behind that and getting to know me a little bit more. I am going to flip you around now, so don't get too seasick. And we are going to flip right around there. Okay, so this bundle is found, there we go, in the January to June mini catalog. And it's found on page 17, and it's got a wonderful stamp set and awesome dies. I'm going to tell you, here are the dies I haven't taken out yet. I took out the small windmill right here because we're going to be using that. I was going to use the big windmill, but I have it cut out, but I don't know if it's going to work on this card. If I made the card a little bit bigger, it probably would have worked, but I wanted to make it a standard card size in the US here. So we're going to use this. We are also going to be using the stamp set. I'm going to move this all to the side. And I am going to recommend that if you guys want this bundle, I know it's available through June, but a lot of items on our last chance list for items that are available through the end of this month have been sold out. And that includes stamp sets. So here's the Tulip Fields. So, get it sooner rather than later so you're not disappointed. And I am going to team up Timeless Tulips with this set because I do like the verses in here. I'm hoping they fit on my card. I'm primarily going to just be stamping in Night of 8 Navy. It's going to be a very, very simple card. Just the 2 colors with an accent of real red And then the designer series paper that I'm using is from the pack of In Good Taste. I use this on my card on Tuesday also, and I was going to use this designer series paper, but since she used it, I wanted to use something else. So I have been ready for this card extra early this week. So my card base, my first card is 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored at 4.25. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that. And then I have a piece of basic white for the inside, which measures 4 by 5.25. And I have a piece of the designer series paper that measures the same. And I am going to go ahead and adhere that on while I am showing you. I am not going to do the inside yet. I'm going to put my Stampin' Seal right around the outside. Remember that when you use that, you want to go softly with it. Okay, and just rub that on. Okay, so that is our bottom layer. Now, our next layer up measures an inch smaller in both directions. So it's 4.5 by 7.5 long. So you want to score this in half. So 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So we're going to go ahead, and don't forget, this trimmer has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. And so we want to use the light blade on this and just lightly go across, creating that score line. Now, while I have my trimmer out, I'm going to go ahead and score the top card. And the top card measures an inch smaller, so it's 3.5 by 6.5. So we're going to score that at 3.5 because 3.25, because half of 6.5 is 3.25. Put that in, and once again, that lighter gray. Good evening, Denise. Hi, Zana. How are you? Welcome. Thanks for coming in tonight. Okay, so this is our second card, and we are going to go ahead and score that. And you know what? No, that's our last card. I'm sorry. Our second card is here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that on the score line with the mountains in the middle, so that little bump is in the middle. Now, this card, when you put it together, you need to remember this card is going to open up like a regular card. This one is going to open up backwards, and we're going to put it right on there. And I am going to go ahead and put that on right now. That's why I put this layer on, because I want to make sure that I remember that I have made this card and done it backwards. And so we want to do it, so it's kind of like we're kind of creating a Z fold with our layers. So we're going to put this on right like that. Okay, so we've got that one, right? So we need to decide what we're going to be putting on the front of this. Do we want designer series paper again? Are we going to stamp? Do we just want to do some white? And I thought that we could just do white. And so this measures, I have to double check this before I put this on, because I'm going to need to cut another piece. This measures 3.75 by 4.25. So we want it 1/4 inch smaller in both directions. So we are going to do it, instead of 3.75, we're going to do it 3.5. And I said the length was, no, 3.5. Okay, I'm going to confuse myself now. 4.5, we want this to be 4.25. And I think I want this one to be 3.25. So 3.25 by 4.25. Should be correct. And yes, it is. So we're going to put that on there for our next layer. Now, I forgot I wanted to stamp on this layer, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp now. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Why is that too narrow? It shouldn't, it's a little bit narrower than it should be. Let me see. Yeah, it's, I have to take that off because I need to make it a little bit wider. No worries, I will use this. You know, I was trying to read my notes because I made a card. Most of the cards I have, well, the one card I saw like this was different sizes, so I had to figure it out. So this is, once again, I want to do it a 1/4 inch smaller. So this measures 3 3/4, so 3 1/2 would be, but that equals my above thing because I did that 1/4. So this is not making any sense to me, so I'm just putting this on because it works. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to put it on there though. Remember I said I wanted to stamp it? So I'm grabbing my silicone mat because my adhesive won't stick to that. I'm going to grab my stamp pad. I am going to grab this image, this one that's like, it's a border. We want to border our paper. And I'm only going to border it on the top and the bottom because it seems that Judi can't measure and my brain is fried today. Oh, so I just want to do this across. And because this is a long, look at that, I got ink on this. Because this is a long and narrow stamp, I don't want to press real hard and I want to go across my pad. You don't want to rub and you don't want to rock. You just want to tap lightly. So we are going to put these down here and I'm just centering it so the pattern is centered. Ooh, awesome. Don't you just love that? So this card is going to kind of feel like it is from like the Netherlands or Sweden, Dutch, Denmark maybe. It's got that blue and white feel to it. Now remember, don't rock, just down and up. Clean that off with my Stampin' Chamois. It makes cleaning these off. And if you clean your photopolymer stamps almost immediately, they don't stain as badly. Okay, so I want to take this up, and while I have my chamois, I'm going to wipe off this ink because I just know that if I decide to use this silicone mat again, it's going to have blue ink on it, and it'll be a disaster. Oh, so Xana loves the timeless tulips. Oh my gosh, Xana, 110. You are like me. I am such a night owl. Look at that. I am such a night owl, and I am going to get a baby wipe because I do not want this. And, you know, I'm up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning every night. I stay up. I think it's because it's a chance that I can watch my TV shows and not necessarily the TV shows my husband wants to watch. So I'm going to put these on here. Now remember, we're not going to see the sides on this white. This white's just going to peek out the top and bottom. That's how I wanted it. I planned that, right? So this one's going to lay on, but this one is going to open up regular. So we're going to put our adhesive on because we're doing all our stamping on our basic white. So let's get this on. This one opens this way. This one's going to open this way. And I am going to have to cut another piece of basic white for the inside. And I love how it's just on the top and the bottom. So that was a happy mistake. And this is going to be the center, the inside of this card. So I'm just going to put these pieces on here so you can kind of see. This is going to open this way and they're going to pick it up and it's going to open that way and then like this. So it's kind of like a Z with an extra little line. So we are going to decorate these now. I have a piece of basic white for this front and it is quite a bit smaller, and I am going to stamp on the front with my this small windmill. Okay, so we're going to stamp that first, and then we're going to take our die and we're going to cut it out. And I am going to use the same piece for the front of my card. So I am once again tapping very lightly. Let's get this on here. I think I'm going to put it up a little bit just because I have an idea. Just stamp that like that. Awesome. I know I'm getting blue ink off my Stampin' Chamois because I use both sides, which is a no-no. Okay, let's grab our mini cut and emboss machine, and we are going to cut this out with our die. So Zana, have you used this very much? Let me know how many, if you used a lot. I imagine that you would. So I just place that on there. I don't bother with Post-it notes, although I've been using them more lately. Just put that in there. I'm pressing down hard because my plate is actually pretty warped. I put that right through there, just like that. And we've cut that out of the center. So I am going to go ahead and adhere this down to that front. And for this, I think I'm going to use my liquid glue because I do want to get it down in here. Right, like this. Yeah, so I just start, this was one of the first sets I ordered. Actually the bundle, one of the first bundles I ordered from the catalog. And I thought, oh, I want to wait closer to Easter. I want to wait. And then it ended up, I forgot to use it. Okay, so we have that. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pop this up in front of that. So what that's doing is, number one, we saved on paper because we didn't have to have another layer of basic white on there, but it creates a shadow in the background. And I just love that look. So whenever I can do that, I do try to do that. Now you do want to make sure that you get enough of the dimensionals on here. So that the windmill blades don't get torn or wrecked. And we do want this to be standing up. Let's get these. We're just going to put them on all four. And aren't these mini dimensional just perfect for these little spots? No more having to cut your dimensionals in half, which is awesome. But I do also use my big ones when I can. So on this bigger spot, because I'll use less dimensionals. So we're going to go ahead and use our take your pick tool. I'm going to move this chamois so I don't get ink all over. Okay, just dump those off in there. You know, the blue and white, oh, don't they call it a Delft pattern in dinnerware? It was very popular at one time. I'm sure it's in Europe, it's still very popular. In fact, I got some dinnerware from my mother-in-law that her mother from my brother-in-law and his wife at one time. And she handed them down to me, and none of my kids want them. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I hate giving away family treasures like that. Okay, we're going to put that on, and you can choose maybe to put it down a little bit so you have a little bit of a shadow. In fact, I think I'm going to. Just going to move it down just a smidge so there's just a hint of a shadow behind it. See how that shadow is behind there? So it's really standing out. Now, I went ahead and cut these out, and these are little tulips, but I cut them out ahead of time. So I want to measure this card front again because I want to make sure I have the size. So I did this at 2 1/8. So I am going to trim these off at 2 1/8, and I might do 2 or 3 rows. That's about 2 1/8 right there. So I will measure the first one, and then I always push, I don't pull. Then I will snip my other ones. Let's get these out of the way, and I believe it's this one. Oh no, I cut it short, but that's okay. I will have them go back and forth. I'm going to do this one, and I am going to, I'm going to go ahead and line it up off so it's off that white a little bit. So let's grab our silicone mat and our liquid glue again. Just like this. So Zana, you are in the UK. Has it warmed up over there yet? Our weather here has been kind of crazy. We have parts of the US are hotter than heck. And then there's parts like us who are hotter than heck, and we think it's summer one day, and the next day it's snowing again. So kind of crazy. I'm going to put these down so that the bottom row is off that white. Okay, let's add that there. I am going to go ahead and add this one back on there just because I do want it to go all the way across, but I can fix it, and no one's going to know the better except you guys. You guys are watching me do it, so you will know what I did and what I didn't do. Wasn't supposed to do, right? So I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive right here. And I'm going to snip this one. This one's snipped, well, it's snipped in half. Let me see if I can get the half on there. Yeah, I can get it on there. Just going to hold it a minute. I'm going to fold that up, and I'm going to clip it right along the edge. This next one I'm not going to cut off. I'm going to go ahead and do the purple next. I particularly, I love purple and orange together. So this is Gorgeous Grape. My first row is Melon Mambo, and these fit right in between those, just like that. Now this one on the end is not going to quite fit because I trimmed it, and it actually should have gone up instead of down. Let me see if I can take that one off. If I can, I will. I did. I still have that, so I can piece one in. Like I said, nobody but you guys are going to know the difference because you're watching me. So I want to cut this bottom one in half. Put a little bit of glue. Oh, there's still adhesive on here, so I had put a little bit too much adhesive on the strip. I'm just going to put that right. Lift this up a little bit so we can get that tucked under there. There we go. Just push that down, and it's perfect. Heck, we're just doing the fold tonight. Don't worry about the design as much. You know, and this would make an adorable, I think, a really cute baby card with the set that's a teddy tuck some money on the inside for your gift. So many possibilities with this fold. Okay, let's get this last one on here. Okay, so these are almost going all the way up to our windmill. So I'm going to just hold that down there. We are going to clip this one off and clip this one off. So we have that. I'm going to do the words. Or the verse. I just noticed I have a little bit of adhesive from my finger where I pushed it down right there. So this one's going to open up this way. So we need an inside to this. That one measures, remember, right, 3.5 by 6.5. So it's scored at 3.25. So it's 3.5 by 3.25. So we want this to be 3.25 by 3. I'm going to do 3 by 3.25, and that should be correct. And that is going to be navy, brings up that layer. Now on the inside, I am going to stamp in blue, or in Night of Navy, I should say. I want to stamp the tree. And let me see. I did just have the stem set here, but I have put everything on top of everything else. Whoops. Let me clean this off right here. You know, the funny thing is I do have the stamp case, but the stamp set isn't in the case. It disappeared. Okay, if you saw where I put it, look, oh, here it is, right underneath my stuff. Did you guys see it here? Okay, so I want to put this tree, and once again, we are just keeping it simple. And that opens up the correct way. And so I'm gonna get my words out. So I want to do on the front, I want to do hello. And then on the very inside, I'm going to put happy Easter, happy spring, happy everything. So you know what? I may just leave the hello. I don't like that small hello. I love this hello in the Sunny Sentiments, and I'm going to use that one. I use this one a lot. You guys have seen me using it on several cards. And I'm a big fan of the fonts and a big fan of just the saying in general. So we're going to grab our tree here, and I'm going to put our tree up just a little bit. Hold it there. Then I'm going to do the happy hello to you and put that here. Just a nice even pressure. Look how nice that font is. Okay, do you remember I said I had that bicycle? We're going to put that bicycle on this layer. So I am just going to move this stuff out of the way. I have my real red paper, which we're going to be cutting our bicycle from. Set this to the side. Have very little room to work on, but that's okay. Put machine again. Let's get our bottom plate, our number 2 plate. Put that in there. We're going to take our bicycle. I don't know why, but I love this bicycle. And you know, we may even use the tulips and put a couple tulips on the inside. So we have that. Let's pull that out. Let's put our die in here and just pokey this out. I don't have my brush handy, So I am just going to use my fingers first, rip it apart. I try taking out most of the chads with my fingers, my fingernail, and then I will poke them out with my take your pick tool, the rest of these. Now what would be really cute, but I don't want to bulk my card up anymore, is putting our little brads in the spokes of the tire. But there we go. But you know what? I just got an idea. There is something else I can use. Okay, so we have that. Normally I would have used our adhesive strip. But I'm just going to use, just noticed I didn't poke out one little spoke. Wherever we have a little bit more paper, just going to put a little bit of this on there, and we're going to let it tack up a little bit. By letting it tack up just a little bit, it's not going to squirt out as much. And I do want to get it on these handlebars. I do not want those to come off. And so very carefully, I can just poke those out by holding those like that. There we go. Okay, we've got this piece. See, I told you I'd put a piece on here, and we are going to put our bicycle on there. So we're decorating it all. Okay, and we're just done with the first layer. Okay, so we are going to put that right on here. Now we've introduced that red color. So like I said, I was thinking of putting some tulips in here, and we can use our timeless tulips. We could also do these, but I think our timeless tulips would be better. So I have my piece here. So when they open it up, it's a happy hello to you. And then on this layer, we are just going to do tulips. And we are going to do these tulips all in blue. And I know you guys are thinking, what? That is crazy. But never fear. Because we're doing everything in blue and white, it's going to match. It's not going to matter. So I got my piece of paper there. And let's get our block and our tulip. And we're going to do a bouquet of tulips. And I think I'm just going to do 3 all the same size. So we are going to grab our Night of Navy and just hold that down, and look at that. I know several times when I do this and I don't do, what you would say is standard colors for my images, people go, how can you do blue leaves or red leaves? And it's like, it depends on your design. You go with the colors that you're using, and when you're all done with it, it looks awesome. You can never go wrong, believe me. Okay, so I have got so much blue ink on me. I'm going to go ahead and use the stems. Now, we have one stem that needs to be a little bit longer. I'm going to use my H black here. Now, with your photopolymer stamps, you can bend them. So I take where I'm going to put it. I'm going to bend this, and we're going to put that one right there. Okay, and just put it here, and we're going to do it into a bunch so they're all going to meet in the middle. This one, I want to clean off my stamp a little bit. This is why I have ink all over my fingers. Just like that. This is another stamp set that is retiring this year. So it will be gone. And, I don't know if it's still available, quite honestly. I was surprised today that there was many, many stamp sets that were already gone. Okay, this one's going to be straight because that's the one that goes straight up the middle. And right like this. Okay, so we have that. Ooh, sorry. There goes my voice again. And now I'm going to take some leaves, and I am just going to grab one of the leaves because I can stamp it up or down. And I just want to stamp some of the leaves. Do this one up here. Once again, doing it all. And now this one I just stamped with this being up. I'm going to stamp with this side being up. So it's going to give a different look to our leaves on that stem. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach that to the center card. And this is where you could perhaps put a gift card in here. You could do a little verse in here. I'm just going to put this one in here. And look, blue and white, night and navy and white look awesome, right? So we've got this card. They open up a happy hello to you. And I have a little bit of adhesive on here. Open it to your tulips, and then we're going to do the inside. Now, this is where I want my verse. Happy spring, happy Easter, happy spring, happy everything. So I want that on here. I'm going to grab that. Happy Easter, happy spring, happy everything. Okay. Put that on there. Let's take that off, and I'm going to go back to that stamp that is on for the edges. And we are going to stamp around the outside. So just holding this like that, centering it from left to right, and just pressing down. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. Okay, but this time I am going to go up the sides also. So I just need to take a piece of my Post-it note and trim it off. We're going to only do one edge at a time. So I'm going to trim this so that I should have done this. You know what? I'm going to go straight across because normally I miter it and then it looks like a frame with my Post-it note. Okay, so we're going to put this on here, and I'm just going to look at my two ends. Pretty even there. Okay, and watch when I lift this up. Ta-da! Pretty snazzy, huh? I'll just put this here and put this one down on this one. I love playing with my stamps this way to see what different, I used some edge stamps before that were a little bit more solid and stuff. And when you do it on a 45, it really does look like a frame. I don't think I got this one real straight, but I don't know if you're going to notice it or not. But there we go. So we have that. I am going to take our tulip and, where did I put it? I'd like to do a little tulip. I'm going to grab this one that isn't quite open and stamp it on the inside. just put it like this. Yep, up here. Going to use my Post-it note and my stem again. I want the stem going off to the left. You know, isn't it how amazing how we can just omit things with Post-it notes? I could have had that go a little bit longer, but that's okay. Let's get our leaf. We do have a smaller leaf, but this one will do. And I am going to I'm actually going to stamp off. And it's okay to go onto that border just like that. Okay, let's take that on there, get it on the center, and then we will have our triple card. And once again, you can decorate this however you want, with whatever stamps you want. You know, this would be a cool guide card if you have any of our tool sets that we've had in the past. I just got... Okay, so here's my card for tonight. So it's kind of I was going to call it a zigzag card, because it kind of reminds me of that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll go ahead and flip my camera around for everybody. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you try it out. I'd love to see your cards that you make with that technique. So feel free to share it in the comments under this post, or just post it right here on this page, because you can post to this. So until next week, and we meet again, happy stamping, everybody. Good night.